school tailors their process depending on their circumstance. But I'll give you again, as a teacher, a 5-step way of exam results being graded this year. So firstly, you have to consider what's been taught. And ultimately, you can only be assessed on what has been taught. So for example, if it's been narrowed due to the pandemic, then you have a smaller curriculum. Secondly, Jeremy, schools have to collect evidence about the student performance. So this can be non-exam assessed things, a bit like coursework, or the exam boards actually provided assessments, almost like mocks for schools to use. Then thirdly, schools have to evaluate the evidence. So this is where they have like a internal moderation procedure to ensure consistency between classes and students. Then fourthly, the school actually assigns a grade to the student. But that's not the final bit, because fifth and finally, the exam board, they moderate the process and they issue the final grade.
Yeah, because that's a bit worrying, isn't it? If you're saying that, that instead of learning 10 things, the pupil only has to learn 1 and they can still get an A, what's the value of this?
I think, again, we have to acknowledge that the last 2 years, students that started year 10 have, not missed, but they've been studying during the pandemic. They've been in and out of school, had online learning, so clearly suboptimal learning conditions. So it would be unfair if you tested them on the same curriculum that the 2019 students who had a full 2 years. So it's acknowledging that. And of course, we're going to see different sets of results. So you can't compare, it's like apples and pears. You can't compare this year's and 21 results to 2019 results. But I think it's the fairest way of making sure that they're not penalised for having missed lots of school. All
right. Now, we gather this morning that the GCSE grades, which were accused of being inflated last year, have gone up by 2.7% again this year. So I don't know what, it goes from 1 to 9, doesn't it? So are you going to have to add 10 on?
Yes, we've changed from the grades. I think we had the A grade being the top, then they eventually had an A star. Now we've got 1 to 9. 4 or 5 seen as a good pass, and 9 is a top grade. Again, I don't know for the exam boards, but if I was a maths teacher, I'm thinking 1 to 9 is missing a number, so maybe a grade 10 one day for the top mark.
OK, well, listen, I tell you what, despite the inflation, there will be some disappointed kids. And I know you've got some advice. So let's just go over appropriately to our famous blackboard here, and I will try and draw a mortarboard on it. Oh, I've started badly there. Isn't it like
good?
Is it like that?
No, you've done it.
OK.
That's excellent, Jeremy.
Thank you. I didn't know you could see that, Bobby. So tell us then, first piece of advice, what do you do if you get the grade you didn't want?
Apart from not panicking, firstly, consider appealing, but you've got to do this as soon as possible. So schools have been through a rigorous process and it's been moderated, but if you think there's still an error, you can appeal to your school. But bear in mind, the result can go down as well as up. And if that doesn't work, you can appeal to the exam board. But bear in mind, this year, it's different to a normal exam process. It has been scrutinized internally and externally moderated. But if you feel as if your grades are sort of significantly different from where you wanted it to be or where you expected it to be, you can appeal. So that's the first one.
Great. Next one.
Next one is, again, if you're not happy with the result, you can resit the exams. So for things like the core papers like maths and English, you can do them as early as October, November, or for non-core papers, perhaps later on in the summer. So resit's always an option.
OK. Do we miss the letters a bit, don't we? I mean, I was talking to somebody on the phone yesterday who got OOF, and he said it spelled oof, and he said that's the perfect exam result. But now you've got numbers, you can't spell anything with them.
You can make mathematical sequences. You could get like 6, 7, 8. You can make all sorts of number sequences.
Fair enough, fair enough. Third one, please, Bobby.
So you can consider alternate courses. So it could be changing your A-level subjects, other vocational courses like T-levels, apprenticeships. So people shouldn't be snobby about other types of options post-16. And I would say, Jeremy, for parents who are watching, the most important thing you can do is be supportive. Be someone that the children can hug, talk to them about the options. As a parent, you may not know the answers, but just be there as a voice, and you can always consult your school as well.
Great advice. So number 1, appeal ASAP. Number 2, resit maybe. And number 3, think about an alternate course. Bobby Seagull, thank you so much. Lovely to see you. Well done. Take care. Pleasure. And thanks for the questions today as well. All right.
Master, Mr. Seagull, always here. Always here.
Thank you.